We begin looking down from a bird's eye view at a hospital. Inside this hospital, in this window, is a little girl sitting on a bed. She has a smile on her face, but soon that smile goes flat. She picks up a piece of paper and a pencil and starts writing. Slowly, her smile returns with hope. She takes the letter, stuffs it in an envelope. With a glimmer of hope, she hopes it gets delivered. On the other side of town is Charlie Brown. He's He starts pumping his fist as he's opening this can of dog food. Ow! Soon, Charlie Brown takes his dog food bowl out to Snoopy, who's atop his doghouse. He shows Snoopy the dog food bowl, sets it down on the ground, points to him with his thumb, and says, you have everything because of me. Even that collar on your neck, I saved my money for that. Snoopy, straight face. Off the collar. Charlie. Inside, there's something in there. He reaches in, pulls out a letter. Big smile on his face. He starts to read the letter, or the envelope. Snoopy, even the dog gets more mail than me. Good grief. He takes the letter, goes to the backyard, his head down, hands it to Snoopy on atop his doghouse. Snoopy takes the letter, and in a moment, Snoopy's eyes go from little dots to big marbles. His ears stand up. He jumps off the doghouse and goes inside. Crumble, crack, crack, bang, bang. Snoopy comes out. Dog food bowl on his head, suitcase in his hand. He walks up to Charlie Brown, extends his paw, and Charlie Brown doesn't know what to say. He's bewildered. He asks him, "Where are you going?" Snoopy simply bows his head, turns around, and walks away. Charlie Brown doesn't know what to say about this. The next day, Charlie Brown and his friend Linus, with his blue blanket, are sitting on the curb discussing about this letter that Snoopy had. They read the letter together. "Dear Snoopy, I have been in the hospital for 3 weeks and am very lonely. Please come see me. Love, Lila." Both boys look at each other. Lila? Linus suggests to Charlie Brown, "I can do a private investigation." Charlie Brown shakes his head. "Just what I need, a blanket-carrying Sherlock Holmes." Linus leaves Charlie Brown with his head hung low. Linus goes, makes a phone call, comes back, says, "Charlie Brown, are you ready for a shock?" Charlie Brown stands stiff, thunk. Linus helps Charlie Brown up. Charlie Brown, Snoopy had a previous owner." Charlie Brown's surprised. "There was a girl named Lila, but she only had Snoopy for 2 months. The family had to move. She couldn't take Snoopy with her. Maybe Snoopy felt he had to go." Charlie Brown, long face, says, "Boy, I bet he wishes he was her dog." With this sad epiphany, Snoopy soon arrives at the hospital. He goes in a back door, sneaks around, darts and dashes through the hospital, trying not to get caught, finds Lila's room. He sees her sitting on the bed. She hears the door open, she turns, "Snoopy!" She jumps out of the bed, and they run, and they hug each other. They play games, and they laugh for a short time. But Snoopy had to go. So they hugged. As Snoopy's hugging Lila, he's thinking, I can't stay, I have to go back. Life with Charlie Brown is pretty good. So he starts to walk away. Lila asks, Snoopy, Snoopy, one more hug. Snoopy, okay, runs, gives her one more hug. And Lila looks at him, down at him, and says, do you think you could come back and stay? Snoopy steps back, thinking for a moment, looks at Lila, shakes his head, okay, and walks away. Charlie Brown during this time was kept on looking out the backyard, wondering when his dog was going to return. Soon he finds his dog has returned atop his doghouse, pacing back and forth. And this goes on for several days. One day, Charlie Brown hears typing. He's intrigued. He goes outside and sees Snoopy typing on the top of his doghouse. He looks up. What are you doing? Snoopy pulls out the paper, zing, hands it to Charlie Brown. Charlie Brown takes a piece of paper, starts reading it. I, Snoopy, bequeath to Charlie Brown, my previous owner. Charlie Brown's distraught. Previous owner? Are you leaving? Are you leaving for good? Snoopy doesn't say anything, just bows his head, slowly nods up and down, and once again departs. Another sad departure, but this time Charlie Brown feels as if his heart was ripped out of his chest as Snoopy walks down the street and fades into the distance. Charlie Brown, just very, very sad. That night, Charlie Brown's laying in bed, thinking of what happened, his frown anchored by tears, thinking, why do we have to say goodbye to our friends? Why can't they stay? I hate saying goodbye. You know what? I need more hellos. And he falls asleep. Snoopy had made it to the apartment the next day. Snoopy's all excited, ready to begin his new life. Rings the doorbell, ding dong, and he's waiting for Lila. He's looking around, and he sees a most offensive sign. No dogs allowed. Snoopy's sort of mad, but then his frown suddenly turns upside down. He starts dancing. Snoopy realizes that he has done the right thing, but he can't stay with Lila. This is great. As he's waiting with a big smile on his face, Lila comes to the door. She's so happy to see Snoopy. She walks up to Snoopy, but before they could hug, Snoopy silently points up to the sign and says, and points up there. Lila looks, and she starts to look sad, but she realizes that Snoopy can't stay. Snoopy extends his paw. They shake, and Snoopy turns and rushes away. Charlie Brown on the curb, totally dejected, supporting his big head with his little hands and his knees on his elbows on his knees, just totally silent. As he's sitting there, unbeknownst to him, there's a spot appearing down the street. It's getting bigger. Soon, it takes the form of Snoopy. Charlie Brown happens to glance over, rubs his eyes, glances again. It's Snoopy. He runs to greet Snoopy. They hug. Charlie Brown is whole again. That night, we find Snoopy up on his doghouse. His conscience. Dog